Welcome back to Excellence Midweek. We are here in Game 3 with the Grid Esports taking 1, GCG Legion taking 1, and it all comes down to this last draft. Both teams, I'd say, winning off the back of team fight-based compositions, so expect a 5v5 brawl here as we head into Game 3. TDS, what are your predictions?
Are we getting the full fiesta and just embracing the fact that both teams want to fight 5v5 or something different? I think, like you're saying, it's going to be... We saw the strengths in team fighting potential in both games from both of these teams, and I think that this time around they should go for it as well. We're going to see if they decide to ban the cannon, and it doesn't seem like it. I think that cannon should be a contested pick, but there's times where teams just value other picks way much than others. The Seraphine also came in huge in the previous game, so I do understand why they go for the first pick. I don't think GCG would go for it first, but I think taking it away,
you saw that one
it's
guy,
not a bad
that's
idea
actually
either.
his literal name, not just that one guy, but his actual game name. Go for crazy flash Seraphine engages. He hit an insane one around that dragon number 3, allowing them to force the fight for that soul and really enabled the Grid Esports to come back in this game. I mean, I think for most of the game, it really was GCG Legion that looked like they were in full control with the split push, but it all fell apart at the end for them, and immediately answered with 2 power picks. GCG Legion gets both the Kennen and the Xin Zhao, which have been picked in all 3 games so far.
Yeah, going for power picks, I feel like for both of these teams, they do value a lot the Shin and the Kennen. The Shin, I think, won the lost the first game and won the second one, so at least it has a lot of potential. It's 50-50 split. The Kennen has won both of these games. I think it has a lot of potential. We are now going to see if it can go over the denier that is Seraphine with her Encore and the W heal. So it's going to be really interesting seeing that. I like the Nocturne for the Paranoia. Denying vision to your enemy is going to be so crucial in these kind of teamfight scenarios where a lot of times it's going to be decided in a split second with a huge ultimate coming through. So I like the paranoia from the Nocturne in this particular game, and I also like how the Grid also tried and utilized it. It was later on, but they did go for picks. So I think having that option in the
I've seen this combo before. This is interesting, but they will be locking in the Kale. So the Grid Esports getting themselves some more late game hyperscaling. Didn't work out for them in game 1 with the Cog Lulu, but they're swapping it up with the Kale, who actually has the ability to enable one of these divers with that ultimate from herself as well. So could just drop it on the Nocturne, give him some invulnerability as he looks to dive on in.
Oh, interesting. I at least like the thing that Kale has with her ultimate, that even if they do engage on you with your ultimate, you can kind of protect yourself or some important target as well. So at least there's possibility to deny getting bursted out and dying immediately. I think the Kale is not that bad in that regarding teamfights, but in laning phase, I don't think the Kale wins a lot of matchups. And if it's against the Kennen, I think the Kennen can just fall.
So also here now bonding out the J4, one of the support actually picked up here for the Grid Esports last game. No Cataclysm to keep them locked into place. But they also have no Slicing Maelstrom to follow up on the Cataclysm, so I'm curious to see what the Grid Esports wants to do to round out this sort of team fight based composition. Is the Galio is also going to get banned out, one of their mid laners' best picks off the table here, as it will get locked in. I like the looks here from GCG Legion, but I am really just genuinely curious as to what the Grid Esports wants to try and pick up here to secure teamfight victories, as it appears that's what they're going for.
Yeah, they have been denied with a lot of what they like with the Jarvan, the Kennen, and with the Galio being banned away, the Kennen being picked away. So I do want to see what their options are going to be. I would like to see an Orianna with the Nocturne. I think that having that extra protection on the mid lane could be good, but there would be so much magic damage already on the side of the Grid, and they don't have a lot of AD damage unless the Kale goes for the full AD build. That can be possible. Kale does provide that flexibility in build wise, but I'm not sure if I'm a complete fan of it going into this game for that. Alistar being big, I like that they have a really strong engage with the Kennen to follow up, so it's not only going to be the Kennen trying to get miraculous engages or things like that, but it's having a really strong engager in the Alistar and being able to follow up with the Kennen. Yeah, I really like already GCG's composition.
We already saw from GCG what they can do with this Kennen pick when there isn't a hard engage to follow up on. in game 1 did a phenomenal job. I mean, they're playing around Trundle Pillar and Scatter the Weak really as their 2 engage tools, but still managed to find some insanely strong slicing Maelstorms. Should be seeing this kind of go top lane. We're looking at the last couple of picks here. It will be the Ashe. So some disengage options locked in will allow them to kind of slow down the approach of this cannon and of course this Alistar, and even stun up anyone who tries to get too close to their backline.
Yeah, it has to be that, the fact that the range from the Ashe can be really valuable, and you have a lot of okay Veigar. I really like that pick here. I really like the Veigar here because it gives so much denial potential against GCG. Yes, it can falter in the laning phase against a couple of champions, a lot of matchups. It can be really bad, but his cage can be so massive in this game to protect not only himself but the amount of squishes that are in his team. And if with his cage, if you're able to control the cannon, the Alistar, and even the Xin Zhao and the Silas, if it comes through, then you can win a really prolonged fight from the side of the grid. But it's team fighting, but in different manners that we're seeing from both of these teams. I think GCG stayed true to what they played in the second game, going for bursty engages, winning fights as soon as they can, and utilizing their cooldowns really importantly. But it's Grid instead going for longer team fights, controlling areas, controlling choke points, and being able to use their spells and their rotations once, twice or thrice in team fights. And I think that's going to be the main difference, because if it's long fights, I favor Grid. If it's short, bursty fights, it's
have to do what they can and really play around this Veigar cage. I think that's the number one, like, most important spell cooldown for this team. They can place the cage correctly, they can deny Alistar, they can deny Tristana being able to jump in, they can deny the cannon from being able to just run straight at them. There's so much this cage is going to be valuable for. I'm assuming this is going to be Veigar mid with Kayle top, but really, again, the Grid Esports has picked themselves a composition that they can be very flexible with most of these picks, able to flex between multiple roles.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I really love how you put it. It's going to be the main spell from this game is going to be the Veigar cage. I think close second it's the Encore. I think the Encore also gets a lot of value, but playing around that Veigar cage is going to be so massive, because if you place it well enough, you deny GCG. You pretty much deny GCG from, as soon as they try to go for things. But if you place it just a little bit badly and you give a space for GCG, you pretty much can lose the fight just because of that. So Veigar is going to play a massive role in this game, with I think the Seraphine as well to a certain degree, but it's going to be based on Veigar and Seraphine, what they do in team fights, to try and control the side of GCG and try and give a space for their team to be able to carry the game with the damage.
Yeah, just keep in mind the Grid Esports has got some hyper scaling here, but even when you have hyper scaling carries, if GCG Legion can just find backline access, which in theory is possible with no true frontline presence outside of this Nocturne, they need to be careful. I mean, it's 4 range, 1 melee. And if they can find a flank or find some way to get into the fight, the Grid Esports, despite having a lead late game, could still lose team fights just to a really good engage from this Alistar cannon.
Yeah, it's not that they don't have field potential, but it's that they are really bursty. Like, it doesn't matter how well you scale and how much damage you get later on. If you get instantaneously deleted, you're completely useless. Like, if you don't get your value there, you're completely useless, pretty much. So I do agree that there's avenues for GCG to be able to pull this game off, even if it goes really late into the game. But I just think that GCG, the Grid has so many tools to deny the side of GCG. I do want to say that based on the first game and Kennen and Otherall's Kennen, I think they can find avenues to win team fights that we probably don't expect it. But I just think the Veigar can be such a cool pick here and such a good pick here as well.
One thing they do have going for them is, of course, the paranoia in side lanes. Of course, East Phantom's going to want to go either top or bot later on in the game and look for that split push. If they send only one to defend against him and they aren't keeping very careful track of this Nocturne, they could very easily funnel kills into this Kayle with that 1 versus 2 immediate engagement with the paranoia.
Yeah, and that is going to be important, I think, for the side of the Grid to keep in mind and to try and utilize as much as possible. Because even if the paranoia doesn't achieve a kill or anything like that, getting pressure on the silence is going to be important for the kill, because at least you have, give her potential to keep on farming and reach her levels. Kayle, as a champion, she values much more levels than items, And if you give free space for her, even if you don't get a kill, you give her the opportunity to keep on farming and get experience. I think that is going to still be a valuable for the kill. I think it's mainly going to be the paranoia is mainly going to be used with the kill, because I don't think the Veigar is going to get much value in the side lane. Same with the Seraphine Rush. But I think the kill is going to be really important in this composition as well. Her getting to level 16 and having a spike in damage is going to be one of the main difference in winning this game. Also, a quick thing, it's Arbok playing the Ashe, and that one guy not playing the Seraphine.
Yeah, it smells like Imperial Mandate Ashe to me, so we'll have to see how they manage to work around this. Again, Great Esports picking up a funky composition that made it work last time, and I bet they can do it again here as long as they can find the scaling. Meanwhile, on that side, you have GCG looking to just be aggressive, make these team fights quick, and make this game quick as they look to pick up the second win of the split and claim 9th place over the Grid Esports. We'll be right back after a brief intermission as they work out the spectator delay. Stay tuned. We're 1-1 and we're going into game 3. And here we are. It is game 3 with GCG Legion currently tied 1-0 against the Grid Esports. As we head out onto the Rift, we've had level 1s both these games so far, and looks like it's going to continue here once again as the Grid Esports heads out across the bottom lane, stacked up as 5.
Yeah, and it's a grid that in the previous game searched for this as well, and this game going for another level 1. This time around, it's going to be a little bit more harder, but I hope that they get something. Oh, okay,
He's able to get out of that one.
Yeah.
Just walking out, singing the Tristana song, and they'll get the vision down. They will be aware the vision's down, and it might just mean Icelico goes for that red side start.
Yeah, they will have vision to know from the from where Icelico will start, and I think it's going to be important to, because of this particular bot lane that they're playing as Seraphine, it's a really good bot lane to keep control because of the range and the amount of folk that you will have. But it's also a lane that if you get on top of one of the two, they can die really easily. They are really squishy champions, and Xin Zhao with Tristana level 2 with the Alistar as well, they will have a lot of burst damage to be able to kill them. So it's important that they know where Selekao will start and how they can set themselves up so that a gank cannot be possible for the Xin Zhao.
Really hasn't been the motive of Icelico even, but it will have them spot them out. More importantly, Kapua, I think, just is looking to try and avoid getting invaded on again, as Icelico has opted to go for a level 3 invade on one of his buffs in both games so far.
Yeah, he has wanting to be able to get that. In the first game, he got much more value because he got the first blood. In the second game, he gets a kill as well, but it's a trade. And I think that's going to be really important to keep in mind going forward. That is a really nice trade. It's going to be really important to keep in mind, like you're saying, because we need to see if Kapua will be, once again, ready for anything happening, and if Selekao will keep on being this aggressive. And I think the answer is yes, because he ignored the clear on top side, and he's just going for the buffs, which means he's going to try and go
keeps on getting away with it. There should be vision on him to spawn him out on this blue buff, but there isn't any vision in River to spot out this invade. So Kapua will clear out Raptors here, I believe, but no, actually, he's actually set this one out. So finally, Kapua is adapting. He's going straight to red to clear this out first before he goes for his Raptor camp and the rest of his camps on this bottom side.
Yeah, and importantly, the fact that he will get his buff means that now if the Xin Zhao does go in to try and get an invade and he cannot get anything, the CS difference is going to be in favor of the Nocturne, because he has been able to clear not only his camps, not only his buffs, but most of his camps.
Okay, looking for the early gank here, not invading this time. Arbok instantly in trouble. Chimichanga boy missing out on the flash timing, not going to connect onto Arbok there in the bottom lane, but it's a flash for flash, and when you're playing Alistar, you're fairly happy to burn that, especially since he got the Hex Flash.
Wait.
No one expects the second gank.
Back. The repeat?
No.
Okay, no.
Oh, but Kapua's just kind of walked in here and in a lot of trouble, actually. Will be the jump in from Trista follow on up. They have the flash. Chimichanga's kind of just looking to disengage. Will just be the knock up on a Nocturne. Almost finding the kill. Only the first blood given over, and they don't have much else to follow up on this one. It was a teleport it down from Silas as well. Finds the stun. Looking forward. Nothing else gained, though, as the cage just come out and will be the disengage here for the Grid Esports.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest problems in that fight that they were trying to force, first, Kapua going in alone, but secondly, they didn't have any vision. If you think there was no ward on the tribush or on the bush outside of the river, which means that you realistically cannot see what the enemy's values are, where they are moving to, and how much damage or how much cooldowns do they have available to them. And I think that made it really hard for Kapua on the Nocturne and the rest of the members to be able to force a fight. Also, Kapua walked way too far forward, and he wasn't able to get a lot of value alone, and the Seraphine didn't have neither heal nor a stun to help, so it was not going to go in their favor.
Icelico, during all this, I don't know what else to call it, shenanigans towards bottom lane, wasn't actually really able to build much of an advantage towards this Nocturne. Should have been able to get some amount of farm lead, but he looked for yet another gank towards bot side, so he wasn't actually able to find any camps, and he's still sitting here at level 3.
Yeah, that's one of the main things. That's why I think if they don't get that early kill, it could have been disaster for the side of GCG, because the Xin Zhao is already so far behind, and the Nocturne has been able to keep up farming and be closer to level 6 that the Xin Zhao can stop him from being. I think if that doesn't happen, they probably are in such a comfortable spot, and they can force that play on the bot lane because we know that Chimichanga doesn't have flash anymore.
This bottom lane really off to a fairly sizable advantage. I mean, we saw what Debay can do in that game one. He's got cleanse this game to try and dodge out on so many of the stun options and abilities that could lock him down here on Tristana. Might actually find the clear. They had a ward on it. They'll find the Ashe. She's knocked up. She's got no flash. That'll be another kill going over to Debay. Adderall here in the top lane. We'll find the stun on the kill. Icelico in the wings, looking to dash on in. He's got Hail of Blades. Doesn't want to do it just yet. Will actually connect through the flash. It doesn't matter, and it's disaster here for the Grid Esports. Multiple kills given away in situations that they maybe didn't need to be.
Yeah, it's giving away kills super unnecessarily. I can understand, or at least give the value of doubt in the bottom lane because you don't know that there's a ward here. Okay, but on the top side, you're going way too aggressive without knowing where the Xin Zhao could be, without having vision on the inside of the enemy jungle, and you're walking so closely to his turret. I think it was just something that was bound to happen. Oh, wait.
Yeah, things get from bad to worse. There's no one available here top lane. Teleport will save him, so Vhagar has to burn teleport. Kinemax now in top lane, trying to use movement speed to get forward. Well, he flash for flash in top lane, but he's burned both summoners, and now this wave will crash towards top. Now with two top side, they know they can just dash on a Nocturne. He has no friends around that can help him out. Paranoia might be just enough. Debay goes over the wall super aggressively, maybe slightly over aggressive, but Arbok again is building support. He doesn't have the damage. Icelico forces him out, and it's another kill and another objective given over here to GCG Legion.
Yeah, and the Tristana that we saw being so strong in the first game, it's once again getting a lot of impact, but this time around, it's not the 006 star for the Tristana. It's 1 kill, 2 assists, and keeps on getting farmed. Tristana getting a lot of value, and I like how they have been responding to these plays because it's always one step ahead of what the side of the Creed is trying to do. If you realize it, the Nocturne was alone in the Dragon without having a lot of vision or knowing where the rest of the members were. The Ashe and the Seraphine were so late to go and help, and in the Tristana and the Alistar were already in position to go and help the Xin Zhao, which means that realistically there should never be a chance for the Nocturne to get that, and he ends up getting punished. Xin Zhao once again
finds a great engage. Actually, gonna be plenty here, as he doesn't even need to drop the Vhagar ultimate as Icelico comes forward to find the kill, and it's now 5-0, and it's quickly falling apart here for the Grid Esports.
Yeah, and it's Icelico has he doesn't have the farm lead that he could have against the Nocturne, but who cares? He's having the impact in the rest of the map. Like in the first game, he is 4-0, being able to get a lot of power ganks and getting a lot of value for his team. And even if his farm doesn't reflect how far ahead he is, the kill certainly does.
I just saw a red ping go down on top of this Nocturne towards Rift Herald. It's not worded out, but it might mean that they know that he's there, so they could look to try and contest this one as. Again, it's just so many laners are so far ahead here for GCG Legion that really no part of the jungle belongs to Kapu here. As literally chunked out to half there by the Kennen. Adderall suddenly realizes he might be in the advantage here, but quickly coming down towards the Kennen. They're going to force him out with Paranoia almost enough to take him down. But no, even through the divine judgment from East Phantom, they are not able to keep Kapua alive, and 1 kill goes over to Adderall.
At least they get the trade kill, but I think miscommunication there. Oh wait, Arathio, wow. Miscommunication in that play there because the Nocturne
flash engage will find the stun underneath the tower. Debay is exhausted and just doesn't have the damage, so they're going to be forced to disengage. But a good trade to burn summoner spells here in the bottom lane. Oh! Okay, right, they're turning this one back around. So right there, they group up just a little bit too much. Debay flashing in for this one. Paranoia comes through to try and land onto Tristana. We'll be able to jump away from the Paranoia. Chimichanga says, I'm just going to solo kill Arbok here. Kapua now turning around. Try and get back in time. Headbutt into the wall. One more auto. He finds the kill. And now Debay will be able to support his support. Chimichanga boy on the run. Might go down and finally does. Arthiel has arrived. He'll find the damage and Debay will end up picking up the kill. It's a Paranoia here on the Silas, but again, so many kills going over to GCG Legion.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think the grid wants to force plays, and they are showing that really aggressively. Like we saw the encore coming through after they were able to run away from the Tristana and Alistair engage, but they missed the encore, and then they keep on moving forward. Great reaction by Chimichanga to go back in and get that engage, and it just feels like the side of GCG is throwing bodies onto the side of GCG, and the count keeps on stacking for them. They keep getting more bodies in their favor. They keep killing more people.
Yeah, it really feels like it's at a time that they don't need it to happen either. I mean, you could have just walked out with a disengage. You could have held on to your encore, but here comes Paranoia. He wants to find the dive here onto Veigar. I'm not sure if it's the play. He'll just get deleted. Kinematics does what Veigar does best and just wipes him off the mat. Isolatico with this Essence Reaper finds the crit on the last auto to find the kill. Disengage here from Chimichanga Boy to keep Kapua away. And Isolatico showing me that his build isn't entirely trolls. He just blows up Veigar as hard as he blew up Silas here in the middle lane. Adderall wants to try and find the engage though. He's coming forward. He doesn't have flash to get the slicing nails from range, but look at that damage. Knock up from Chimichanga Boy to bring Arbok back in. Slicing Maelstrom connects. Adderall finds a kill. And they get yet another one. That one guy, Nos, stuck in the enemy jungle, not where you want to be as a Dashless Seraphine. Will get over the wall. Dodges out from the wind, becomes lightning. But I really don't think he's got anywhere to go. Chimichanga Boy over the wall, finds a knockup. Kill will go over to Adderall. And that is getting picking up yet another one here in their jungle.
Yeah, and I feel like the Kennen ultimate coming through a little bit way too overkill. You really don't need to kill that Ashe that pretty much died. Got half her health destroyed by just a QW combo from the Kennen. The Maelstrom is overkill, but from what it seemed like a good outplay by Kinematics to kill Arathiel, going way too ham under the turret, just turns around completely. Like you're saying, the value from the Essence finally playing through, getting the crit to kill Kinematics, and then it's just a normal rundown onto a team that is so weak right now. There's a 6,000 gold lead in favor of GCG, and they are really strong. In comparison, the side of the grid is so weak. They cannot answer 20 plays, and they don't have enough damage to burst out
GCG Legion just needs to play it steady. I mean, they got the first dragon, they continue to secure the soul, and really all it's going to come down to is as long as East Phantom stays underleveled and stays behind Adderall here in top lane, they should be just fine, as this kill is really the last sole remaining win condition here for the side of the Grid Esports.
Yeah, and sadly for the Grid, the side of GCG also won
catches
the
Adderall on the bush,
and
not going to find the stun, so actually Kapuya trying to find the solo kill here at this point, but a great stun at the last second, almost finishes to be the disengage, and another great engage here from the Grid Esports towards the bottom side. Chimichanga's looking to dash back in. Here comes the damage from the Zinzao actually, and Icelco is during the fight as well, looking to get the blast on the bomb. Might be enough damage. Arbok dies. Debay finds the last tick of damage. They're threatening to dive here on the Veigar. I'm not sure if they want it. He has burned actually that primordial burst, so a little bit vulnerable. Chimichanga Boy, where are you going? The great cage from the Veigar in the middle lane means Debay just gets stunned up and now is in trouble himself. Icelco finally going to disengage. A slight amount of over-aggression here from GCG Legion as they overstep their bounds.
2,000 gold just went down the drain. In the top lane play, at least, like top lane play, okay, you died because no vision. Kennen dies and gives away a kill to the Nocturne. Positive side there, at least you don't give it to the Kayle. So Kayle doesn't get as much as she could have got, but she gets a play, so it's okay. But on the bottom side, you want that the Silas walking in way too far forward, he dies. And then you're able to trade 2 for 1 because the Ashe dies. But later that Hex flash over the wall from Chimichanga and the follow-up from the Tristan as well. Pretty aggressive without actually needing to, giving away kills that are not necessary and giving a chance for the side of the grid to keep on believing that they can win the game, because the kill win condition will eventually come true. The Veigar will keep on stacking, and even if the Seraphine doesn't have damage, her supportive value will still be there.
Really have to try extremely hard to carry that kill to that point. East Phantom only level 10, hasn't even hit that level 4 or level 11 yet, doesn't have any towers taken down, and is just kind of trading back and forth on these waves with Adderall. So he's fairly, I mean, he's like doing fine, but they're just so long away. This Kayle being scaled up feels like it's a long shot, and they just gotta get there.
It's going to take time. It's going to take time. I agree with that, but I feel like This is a good situation for the Gale because as long as she can keep the laning phase going, no turret down and no interaction from anyone else, which it seems it's going to disappear because here comes Chimichanga. But okay, there's a 3 people top.
I'll find the stab. East Phantom, though. Where are you going right now? Chimichanga's there to answer. We'll look for the knock. We'll find it. Iselica's here. Look at the burst from the Zen's out too, but she manages to nullify most of that with that Divine Judgment. Arrow will go just barely wide. Chimichanga boy in trouble here. We'll find the Son of the Zen's out. Here comes the Nocturne to follow it up as well. We'll find the shutdown. And all of a sudden, this one's turned on its head. Here comes the Encore to land on the cannon. Will actually prevent the Slicing Maelstrom from going anywhere. Debate will get over the wall. Well. But it's the only escape member here is Nocturne. Kapua picks up a triple. They're not done just yet. Debate over the wall should be able to get away at this point. But they're still chasing forward. Debate not respecting the ability of this team to just continue to close in on him. Whisk done there from one guy. Nos might not be enough here. Is Kapua going to tank up the tower? Might go down, but no. Kapua, 4 kills and multiple shutdowns on this Nocturne now. And he just might have what it takes to carry this team in a mid game.
Yeah, pretty much. And Kapua has been able to answer really well. Oh, wait, Aratio. A lot of damage, but not much. Yeah, Kapua has been able. Great. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're disengaged. No more. No more shenanigans. We can now go back to talking. So yeah, on the bottom lane, nothing much happening. I really like that response play by the side of the grid. I think that protecting the kill is your #1 priority, and committing the teleport, even though it may not end up in anything, it's better than letting the KL die. And then the response from every member of the grid. If you see at the fight, it was a 5 before because Arathiel cannot join. He didn't have teleport until now. It came up, but for that play, he didn't have. So it's going to be a 5 before in their favor, and they take that fight really well and are able to get 4 kills because the Tristana dies at the end.
Look for the fight here in the jungle. He just dies though. That's the weakness of the Essence Reaver build. And Arathiel able to pick up yet another kill. They'll find a second. Here comes the Slicing Maelstrom though. Adderall finds 4 inside of it. We'll pick up 2 kills there with that one, but he goes down almost immediately as an answer. Debay flashing forward for the kill. Chimichanga boy and Debay versus the world. Here they come. Gonna find the kill on the East Phantom. Good target selection, but now it's a 1 versus 1. It's support versus mid laner, and Alistar does not win these. He's gonna hop on out. He should be just fine.
Yeah, I think he should be alive. The Drake, well, nobody will take it, but I think this favors completely the side of the grid. It's an equal trade for a team that scales better and is behind in gold. So getting that extra gold for kills that you typically wouldn't get, it's much more valuable for you. The Drake can probably end up going for the side of GCG. Both teams are rushing, but I think it will end up being in favor of GCG. But overall, I think it's a really nice trade for the grid to keep them being in the game and keep giving much more advantages for the kill that it's the main win condition.
Everyone anytime you trade 1 for 1 against something like a Kog'Maw, a Kayle, you're just slowly giving over gold to the team that can use it better than you. And when you get those gold values high, the differential matters less and less. So actually going to be able to pick up a dragon here for themselves on top of these team fight wins, or at least 1 for 1 trades in team fights. The Great Esports is looking better and better as they're even able to deny, at least for 5 more minutes, this Earth Dragon Soul.
Yeah, and I feel like that is really important because it keeps on going with the win condition. Give kill time. And you buy yourself time because now the soul is no longer that threatening. You're buying it at least until 28 minutes, which I think it's going to be super important. I think it goes even further, actually. Yeah, it should be over 30 minutes that the soul will come through, which means that now Kayle at 30 should be level 16. If she is at a good enough pace, she should be level 16 and she will get a lot of value. I'm surprised that GCG didn't commit for the Drake because I feel like they can commit to that play being 5 members against 5 members. If you force that fight with the cooldowns that you have, you probably can win it at this point of the game, but they just decide to give it up.
A little bit surprising there. Maybe just feeling that they've been pressing the gas too hard. GCG finally lets up on some of the aggression, but it might end up costing them, like you said, as now their soul has been denied for another 5 minutes. And again, like you said, you're just nailing this game perfectly. Kayle hits 16 now, and that'll be the risk going forward for this entire team.
Yeah, just in case GCG still has the potential to win this game completely, they are in a driver's seat right now because they do have a lot of damage. Also, a quick thing I'm to point out, I really like Selecao's build path here to go full glass cannon, because I feel like if he can burst out the Kale or any of the important targets before they get to do anything, I think that is going to be one of the main win conditions. And you already have the Alistair to kind of be the pseudo tanky member of the team to kind of just go all in and survive as long as he can. So I think this is a correct way to approach it. Kind of the same if you went for Lee Sin, you go much more glass cannon and try and delete someone as fast as possible.
Moving back to mid lane. That guy Nas and Arbok gonna pick up this wave, and it's looking to slow it down again. The slower this game goes at this point, the Grid Esports will just pull further and further ahead in terms of team power. As Kale is just getting closer and closer to level 16, and they're just so happy. I mean, there's no more aggressive moves to be made on the map. There's no objectives available. This Baron's really the last thing that they could try and go for to crack open the space as quickly as possible. There is a Vigar in bottom lane. They just might try and start this one up, or at least look for some kind of bait.
The Asharo. They do have Asharo now, so at least they can try and force something. But yeah, after everything that happened on the early game, this is the slowest that the game has been. Pretty much, I feel even in the whole series, this is the slowest that it's been.
With that Enchanted Crystal Arrow, could look to pick off one of these fights, just start it up, and allow the team to just go forward so aggressively. They have complete vision control around Baron though, and they're just gonna start this one up. Debay just now starting autos onto it might mean this take will be slower than they would have liked, and the collapse is coming on in. Enchanted Crystal Arrow will land on Alistar, and falling up here will be the Paranoia, and they're going to be forced out of the pit. A great flash engage from that one guy, lands onto 2. Adderall didn't go down though. East Phantom able to barely get away with his life, but look at the health bars. Alistar extremely low here. Adderall hiding out in that bush. Vagar holding on to the primordial burst might mean trouble for this team. They managed to heal up off the sustain of Kale and Seraphine. They're feeling just fine, and it's bleeding health bars on the opposite side. GCG getting forced further and further back and being forced to walk through a tower as Adderall tanks it up forward to Bichonga. Managed to make it on through, but there'll be no more follow-up from this team, and they're too afraid to start this Baron on their own.
Yeah, but they keep on poking. They are going to collapse on the cannon. No turret here.
So just dies. Goes golden Debay, managed to pick up 1 kill. It'll be a 1-for-1 trade overall, but that's a great stun on a Zinzao. Ice Elika goes down, and suddenly that 1-for-1 trade was absolutely worth it as they pick up their second. Catamatics landing cage after cage here. Such a strong ability. As the Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through, they're going to find the dive. Arthur over the side gets pulled in, but he's in the wrong part of the fight. Now left all alone goes Golden. You're 1 versus 3, son. What are you doing? We'll steal the KO ultimate for the disengage. It's a perfect seal from Easy Phantom. And he manages to get the exact ability he needed to escape that fight.
The value from Catamatics in that long fight was so huge. He got 3 cages down, I feel like, in that fight. And every cage got either a summoner or a peak potential kill. It didn't amount to a lot of kills at the end, but you're forcing important summoners for the Drake that is spawning in 20 seconds. I think that the side of Grid can actually go for that fight. They do have their cooldowns will be up soon enough. They don't have the flash on the surfing, which may be scary against the Kennen, but Kennen doesn't have flash either, which means that if you get positioning, you can get a really interesting advantage in this.
Just to be careful here, this Dragon fight, I mean, could decide the game. It could be the snowball that GCG Legion needs to get ahead here. The Grid Esports doesn't want them to get at Soul Point, obviously, but they might just be forced to get it over. Adderall's on the wrong side of the map, does have that teleport available to get down here as quickly as possible. Paranoia pop, there's the teleport on in, but they managed to stun out the jungler. They're not going to drop him just yet. Paranoia. It's actually secured by GCG, but the fight is still going not in their favor as East Phantom is fully stacked here on the Kale. They're going to continue to push on forward. Arbok not going to continue the fight. They managed to get what they wanted. They get 2 picks, 3 picks, and they're going to just move right on towards Baron.
Yeah, and this is the other side of the coin for this Xin Zhao build. I like it because you can burst out targets, but if you get focused, you get bursted out instead. And that is a risk that I think Sedekao understood going for this, but he gets exploded in this fight, and we saw the potential from the Grid. Really nice engage with the Seraphine ultimate, with the Paranoia coming through, and I think they fought this as well as they could. They also cleared out vision before they forced this fight, which meant that Kennen couldn't get any good flank teleports to win this fight convincingly. And I think those steps, even though it cost them the Drake, they won them the overall fight for the Grid.
They did manage to secure the Dragon, so it wasn't all lost. But again, even an Urtsul late game won't save you against Kayle, especially since no one in your team is stacking resistances. Xin Zhao's going for this sort of glass cannon build. Kennen, not known to build tons of armor or magic resist, and Alistar on the support budget won't be able to get much of it either. They don't really have a whole lot of resistances on this team, so this Urtsul just doesn't matter that much. It'll be a slight shield at best.
It's the shield and pretty much praying that you don't get destroyed by the Kayle on the Veigar. That's about it. And I'm not convinced. I think they don't even get the soul in the next fight. I think, but that the Kayle will be strong enough by that point to be able to walk forward and be able to just destroy everyone. And I think that they also with this
walk straight on in, immediately stunned, immediately dead.
Alone.
There we go. It took 2 to take her down, but should be locked in at level 15 for just a little bit more time as a pause does come through. And it looks like Arbok's internet has gone out, but they are already typing out ready, so we're probably just at a slight spectator bug delay here on the pause.
Yeah. But overall, really great pick on the Kayle on the sideline. I think that stuns her ability to reach level 16 as soon as possible, and that's going to be a lot of what the grid is looking forward to. Yes, they are winning these fights, but that level 16 power spike, it's really strong and different to just having the level 11 Kayle that you currently have. So I think it's going to be really important for them to reach that point. But something that I was going to mention before the Kayle dies is that even though they probably don't open the base and they probably don't win the game through this Baron buff, it's going to enable them to be able to walk much more forward and be able to gain much more vision control in comparison to what they have. And I think that's going to be really important. They do need to get at least one of these 2 turrets that are still standing in the tier 1 turrets, because those are the ones that will enable you to open up. But apart from that, I do think that they will have the positioning to get the vision down and control areas like their composition.
So what you saw right there, that quick pause was, of course, just the end of that spectator delay. Or sorry, the pause and then the slight spectator bug that comes with it. Yeah, just a quick buffer. So we managed to get through it. And we should, in theory, as long as there's no issues within the game itself, have no more pauses going forward. Right now, Baron buff will crack open this mid lane tower. They get their second of the game as Kadam let's just look for the engage here. They're just going to pick up Arethiel. He's too far forward and much too alone. Isolico does not want to dash into this 1 versus 4. And there's actually just East Phantom going to that bottom lane to claim some of this wave. Will hit that 15 and is now only 1 level off of that critical level 16. Adderall on the side, though, might look for the flash engage here. I think he was spotted out. Massive. They know he's here. They'll get a ton of damage. Look at that Veigar just poking him out. They'll be kind of not joining this fight for a little bit more, as they're just going to continue to poke away at this tower and at this team. Debay is getting chunked out little by little. Imperial Mandate Ashe allowing a little bit of poke through those constant barrages, but mostly wait for their teammate damage to come in. They got the cannon minion, though. This tower should be falling.
Yeah, it is. A valuable support pick here with the amount of poke that they have. And I think with the cage of the Veigar, that's something that we keep on mentioning. The value from the Ashe kind of gets even higher.
Here because comes the fight. Maybe though, as now the Paranoia coming on through. They got 1 pick. They're looking for more, but a flash over the wall will be just good enough. Look at the 2-man stun. He deletes another one. Katamatics is going off this game on this Veigar pick, and he's going to be able to take down this tower in mid lane. They're picking this one up. They will be able to get the end too. Kayle's just been splitting bot lane. It's been a 4 versus 5 this entire time. Outside of the staggered picks that Charismatic has picked up, but they're getting everything they need here, and they just might look at to close at the game right here, right now.
Yeah, and I'm beginning to think, forget about the Kayle, the Veigar cage and the Veigar alone has been having so much value in this game. It not only controls whatever the side of GCG wants to go for, but it doesn't let them move forward. You kill them instantaneously, you have enough burst damage, and they cannot do anything. They need to go for a really instantaneous engage on the side of GCG to be able to pull a teamfight win. Because if not, the Veigar will control you. And they didn't even need to commit any really big cooldown, because Paranoia, yes, it was already down, but Paranoia will come back for this fight. Also, the Veigar ultimate is already back up. So right now, it's in complete control and position for the side of the grid to not only get this dragon, but win a fight.
It looks like they actually want to try and go for the steal as well, as Isolico's hiding out in the wings. All 5 of their members are here. If they fall here, they got 2 nibs down, they got waves pushing. It will be the last fight of the game. Look for the engage. It'll be a stun onto Arbok. Gonna be the Paranoia. You have to follow it up lane on the 2 that's knocked in the backline. The fight is completely split up. Kennen goes down without getting any value out of that Maelstrom. Chimichanga boys next to follow. Kapula flashing out will actually stay alive. And the Kayle has arrived. Level 16. clean. And on top of that, Catamatics is the secondary carry here, but he's looking like the primary as he just continues to push through the fight. Only 2 members left alive here, and with 5 on the base, this has got to be the series and the game. Going over to the Grid Esports as they chase down Aerithil. One Nexus tower goes down. Alistar still trying to get that recall off, but this will be it. Everyone is here. 1 tower falls, 2 towers fall, and that'll be the Nexus going over to the Grid Esports as they pick up the win and secure their positioning over GCG Legion.
Oof, what a game. At the end, we were hyping up the KO so much, and I think it was fair to hype the KO because of her potential, but Catamatics on the Veigar, he's so huge. I feel like it was so good. His play during the game was so clutch, getting so many important cages and controlling so many of the spaces. That last team fight, yes, it wasn't that much. I think the Seraphine ultimate got much more value, but his cages throughout the game, I think, were what kept the team up, were what gave them a lot of chances, and it made them be at a point where they could be and win the game. I gotta say, Catamatics for me, what a game on the Veigar. And from it could have been a 2-0, and it ended up being a 2-1.
Esports making an insane comeback here in this block of 3. And again, I really want to give a shout out to Catamatics. Like you said, Kale was the insurance policy, but they didn't even really need her. It was just pick after pick from this mid lane Veigar to clean up the game. Kapua as well, putting in the work there in that early game in those team fights to find what they needed to climb their way back with a few shutdowns. Finally, the Grid Esports finds their first wins here on the split as they take down GCG Legion. We will be right back after a short break, and we'll be bringing you an interview. Player has yet to be determined. We'll get that to you shortly, but we'll be right back with some post-game analysis. Stay tuned.